大家好，我是 Arkan, and I'm going to talk about my progress in learning Mandarin Chinese for 1 month. What I want to say at first is that you don't really have any meaningful progress. You don't really have anything to show in this 1 month in language learning, especially in Mandarin Chinese, especially that it is regarded as one of the hardest languages in the world. But in my case, I am a Japanese learner and I am a very advanced Japanese learner and I have a lot to show. I have a lot to say about Mandarin Chinese in even though I just learned it in just a month. So we're gonna talk about it in the end. So as a background, I have a Japanese background and I took N1 in December 23 and passed. So this is my legal name. This is pretty much my like my real life channel. So I don't really have any problem showing my legal name. So I passed N1 in December 2023, which is the highest level in Japanese proficiency test. So this is like the hardest everyone could go for to show their proficiency in Japanese. So I have, as you can see here, I have a total score of 116 out of 180, whereas you only need 400 out of 180 to pass. So as you can see, my vocab and grammar is the highest, listening is the second, and reading is worst. So yeah, I have a lot of knowledge in like kanji, and this is very important. Like my Japanese background is important to this learning process, and it is interesting. Like it will be interesting to talk about it. So I'm making this video. So as a disclaimer, I have learned Revolt Mandarin 1K deck before I'm starting to count this 1 month progress. So for about a year, I have like 3 new cards every day for like a year, and well, I've reached the 1K mark. I have learned the 1,000 words in this deck, but as you can see, 16% is suspended. It is because, well, I don't have really any meaningful interaction with the language. I really didn't have any like meaningful interaction with Mandarin Chinese content, so it's very hard to remember the reading. Like I mostly have like I in this deck at least I like 90% I don't have any problem for the meaning, but the reading, especially with the tone, it's very hard to memorize the tone, especially that uh, there's a lot that there are different readings, so you can't really depend your knowledge of your reading of the Hanzi in other words to every word. But I guess this only happens in special cases, like it's not as bad as Japanese where every single kanji have at least 2 readings, and one kanji can have like 15 readings, more than 15 readings, whereas in Chinese, like in Mandarin, you only have like 3 readings at best, and it's very restricted. It's very limited to a certain few Hanzi. So like as a disclaimer, I've already learned 1,000 verbs, 1,000 vocabularies, and uh, I've been using like ever since 1 month ago. After learning this 1,000 deck, I started to consume Chinese media, like especially Taiwanese media, to learn the language. So I'm using the same method that I used for learning Japanese, which is the brute force method. So I would watch the target language content, mind every word that I don't know. Uh, So in progress of doing this, I also learned the word list. In this case, it is HK and the grammar. So let's say I open up a YouTube video in Mandarin, and uh, like there would be I would only choose something that has a subtitle, and like in every sentence, in every single word that I came across that I don't know, I would mine it mine it and put it in my Anki card. So like every single one, but well, not every single one, but the ones that are like are useful mostly. Like the only word that I don't mind is about food. Like I couldn't care less about food. So uh, other than that, I mind every single word. But unless if it's like I said before, like the useful, I only mind the useful ones. But to be honest, I see every word as useful ones because I only watch uh like everyday spoken Chinese, everyday spoken Mandarin. So I haven't learned like ancient Mandarin or anything. So I see pretty much every word as useful. But unless it's very very niche, like something that I would come across just once in my entire life, so I wouldn't mind it. So following my method of learning Japanese. w- Now, what's difference from my method in learning Japanese is that I was reading main. I'm reading main in Japanese, but I want to change that. I want to try something different and became a listening main in Mandarin. So basically, there's some reason for this. Is that if I became reading main in Mandarin too, I would not care less. I would not care about the reading. I wouldn't care about reading because I could just look at Hanzi and I would get the meaning. So unless as long as I get the meaning, I don't really have a reason to like learn the reading because well, why would I care? So that's why I become a listening main because even though like a lot of words have like many Hanzi has a lot of similar sounds, but most of the time you can't just like guess the like if you hear a Mandarin like a Chinese people speaking, like for example just one word, you can't really guess what Hanzi does it represent unless you learn that reading. So that's why I'm thinking, or at least I'm trying to become a listening main, and well, I don't really like. On next slides, I will show my like time, immersion time total. So yeah, pretty much so far I am listening main, and I think I will become for like a lot of my time learning this language. But the drawback is that in reading you have a lot of time to think about. Like for example, if you read, you can just reread it again and again, and you pretty much you can analyze every word, every hanzi, and you can try to like you have a lot of time to you have a lot of leisure to try to understand the sentence that you have just read. Whereas if you listen, if you're starting to listen, if you if you start listening, you don't really have that much time leisure. So you don't have that much time to comprehend, to analyze the grammar. So you have to pause a lot. You have to pause a lot, and you have to like go back 5 seconds, try to like hear again. You don't get it. You refer it again, 5 seconds, and then you hear it again. And if you still can't get it, you have to like re-listen it again. So that's the big drawback. It's just that it's very much more stressful, and very and like you get burned out a lot much sooner than reading. So the reason, like I've already experienced this in Japanese, so the reason that you don't have much like for example, if you hear a sentence or read a sentence, you don't get the meaning of the sentence even though you get every single word in that sentence. it's it's just that you aren't used to the grammar. You aren't used to the words. So at least for reading, you have a lot of leisure for the grammar part because you can just analyze every single one. But if you do that for listening, you just get burned out faster than reading. So next, I've built I've type coded a website to progress my immersion time, and this is like my statistics. So I have 7 hours 40 minutes for all my time immersion in this one entire month, and for the ratio of listening and reading is very much 97 to 97 97% and 3%. So as you can see, I'm very big on listening, and I practically do nothing about reading. So as you can see, it's not like consistent, but my minimal time to learn Mandarin for every day is an hour, and I've been pretty much been following that. Like I'm pretty loyal to the 1 hour. I'm very much consistent on 1 hour. So much more than that, it's like it's up to me whether I want to learn more or not. So yeah, it's just learning time, but immersion time is different because I use brute force to learn. So I have to like look up every single word, and I have to like listen a lot to understand and to train my listening. So yeah, this doesn't really uh, reflect my actual time learning Mandarin. Whereas if you're advanced, your immersion time pretty much reflects of your like progress of pretty much your time learning, because you basically just like simply consuming the media that in your target language is pretty much the learning part, the learning time, in like if you're advanced enough. So as you can see, I'm very consistent. I'm very consistent in learning Mandarin every single day for an hour at least. And as you can see, most thing that the thing that I've consumed the most is easy Mandarin, because well, I wouldn't like before I dive into the actual content, want to like learn at least the everyday spoken words in Mandarin, in easy Mandarin, because like they interview someone, and the one that's interviewed is basically just talking about the everyday topic that the easy Mandarin has given. So yeah, pretty much it's pretty much words that used in everyday life. So I've been using this as a foundation for me. And well, other than that, I have like Brian's podcast. I have like a Minecraft series. I said Xing Sun Lu Xiang. I have Zealand. I have like this is the only novel that I read, but novel that I read or something that I read in Mandarin. It's like the 未来的日记. So this is pretty much the media that I've consumed throughout July. It's Easy Mandarin, the novel, the podcast, the Minecraft survival series, Genshin. So for Genshin, I have like I only watch like the gameplay in Mandarin, and I would watch that in YouTube, and basically I just paused and learn every single word I don't know. And for this Baby Gacha and Burn Rot, it's just that there's a lot of interesting in Bilibili for like Honkai Star Rail, Genshin, Uwa, and like the every Burn Rot is pretty much funny and like a lot of fan service there. So maybe I'll consume more Bilibili. And this is the drama that I've been trying to watch, but I think before using it to learn the language, I will watch the episode, then rewatch it to learn it because like it's very like torturing to pause every second, even though you don't really know anything about the language and you don't really enjoy it. So I've been stopping to watch this, and like in drama, I think it's much like unclear about what they say. Whereas like in YouTube like videos, in YouTube content, you find more people speaking more clearly. Then I started watching Zealand, and I really like his editing. I really like his like the topics that he discussed. So other than immersion, I've like what I say in the first slide here, one of the first slides here. Like I also learned the word list and grammar as I did in Japanese, but for vocab, I've learned all the words in SK1 to 3. But for grammar, I really don't like learning grammar. Like I would rather learn by practicing, by listening to the actual content rather than like reading the textbook. So I'm still learning S1 grammar, but yeah, the drawback is that I don't really get anything. Like I just learn by context or by the translation, by the English translation in easy Mandarin, because I really don't get any grammar. So for the Anki side, I've mined pretty much 1600 vocabs, but I've only learned 380 because well I at first I only have like 10 new words, new cards daily, and then I moved to 15 because I think this is like very small, and considering the fact that uh, in the first in one of the first slides I have like 16% of suspended cards in the 1k deck, so I really have a hard time memorizing the focus. But now that I've actually uh, been consuming the target language, I have much more like retention in my memory, so I move to like from 10 to 15 to 20 new cards every day. And as a goal, like what I want to get out of all this learning process is that I eventually want to get SQ6. For SQ7, 8, 9, I think I'll just think that when I actually get SK6, and in 1 year at very least I want to get SQ4. And the thoughts that I want to say as a Japanese learner is that for Hanzi, especially Fanti, it's just that it's like I'm basically just cheating. Like I only have to learn the words. I only have to learn the reading. Like from Japanese, I pretty much have learned most of the Hanzi that I will encounter, like more than 50%. And I know the meaning, and the meaning is pretty much the same. Like they don't, like Japanese don't really change the meaning when they borrow it from the Chinese. So like in my Japanese, I have mind this 時代の趨勢に従う the one that I don't know is 趨勢 and like uh, in Japanese I have to learn the reading and the meaning. So 趨勢物事がある方向へ進んでいこうとする勢い成り行き通行 So from Japanese I've already learned the kanji and the meaning. So in Mandarin I've encountered the same kanji or hanzi, but the meaning is exactly the same as it does in Japanese. So I only have to learn the reading. 趋势现在有这种趋势了，从政希望是 so like I really want to have to learn the meaning. So this is pretty much the cheating side that I've thought about in reading, because like I wouldn't have learned anything because I would just get everything. Whereas if I listen, I have to get the reading of the Hanzi and get used to this like a reading in listening. So for number two of my thoughts is that Taiwan and mainland is so much more than British and American English. So pretty much if you try to like consider whether you learn Taiwan and mainland, it's just that it doesn't matter, and pretty much everyone says that it's the same as British versus American English. Whereas from my experience in just 1 month, I could I could like differentiate between Taiwan and mainland. Like I only just learned 1 month, and I could say whether a Mandarin speaker is speaking Taiwan or mainland, as long as I have the subtitles. Like regardless of whether the subtitle is traditional or simplified, and especially in modern day words like shipping is like the video, where in mainland is shipping, and in Taiwan it's in pen, and for like software in Mandarin and mainland is 软件, whereas in Taiwan is 软体. So I've also read the Reddit post the other day, and they're like watching a chess video, and pretty much a lot of the terms for chess is very different from like from like each other. For like the one in Taiwan is very different from the one in mainland. So yeah, like this this like in British we would say soft things, and in America you would say software. So British and American English is not that different. So I think this is pretty much a misconception for like Taiwan versus mainland, for like people that don't or haven't learned the language. And Taiwan and mainland in Taiwan they have more uh, influences from like Hokkien, so they have like grammar grammar differences from mainland too. So things the third thing that I get from learning from this one month is that the concept of Mandarin borrowing words from Japanese changed a lot of my perspective. Like there's just many words that many words in Mandarin that doesn't make sense in Mandarin, but it does make sense in Japanese. And the first word that I've encountered that has that like feelings is langman. Like in Japanese, you will read this as roman, which is romance, but in Mandarin it's langman, which is doesn't sound at all like romance in English. So this word is like, oh my, I wrote the man wrong, so but I don't care. So this this word that I've learned at first, that when I first see it, it feels very weird, and I encountered like Mr. Fuji YouTube video the other day, and there's like the Chinese person that thought about that 20% of Chinese borrowed Japanese words, and I watched that video and oh my god, it made so much sense. Like it changed a lot of my perspective, and I've researched it more, and holy shit, there's just a lot of words that came from Japanese. 周平、人治、経済、文化、自由、平等、哲学. It's just a lot of words that they borrowed from Japanese. So like, pretty much everyone thinks that Japanese just steal or borrow from Chinese like one-sidedly, whereas in truth, Chinese borrowed a lot from Japanese too. That's very surprising to me. So yeah, this is the end of my video. Oh my god, it's like 28 minutes. But yeah, I think I'm going to do like 3 months, then 6 months, and 1 year, because you don't really make much progress in every month. And after a year, I will like make a progress every year. So yeah, thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.